with another natter that matters, because of course all natters matter, including the ones outside of you and inside of you. And today I have the lovely Debbie with us. Hello, Debbie.
Hello.
Debbie has come to talk to us about how she got into one business and is now pivoting to include that business into another business and building businesses. Hello.
That
So
sounds
tell
very
us about what
exciting.
you do. I know, right? That's as good as a description as we're going to get, really. What do you do? Tell everybody, introduce yourself.
So my first business is an accountancy-based business focused on the fitness industry. I work with a lot of like gyms and wellness people. The second business is financial coaching and kind of bringing the two together to help people just talk about money more, make more profit in their business and take home more money, because surely that's what we all want from our business. So I'm combining the two to bring the two skills together, because I felt that just the accountancy was lacking something, and so I'm adding this on to help further.
I think it's brilliant. I tell you why, because I mean, I've been coaching women for a very long time. Well, and some men, but mainly women. And that's the bit they just don't want to look at. It's almost like it's the feel good for them. And actually then looking at the numbers, if they don't match that, oh, I've got lots of nice people speaking to me and I've got lots of nice things going on and so many followers on my Instagram or whatever. And then they look and go, yeah, but I've got no money and no profit. It doesn't match up. So they just ignore that bit. Is this right for you when you meet people? Are they a bit ignorant to their own finances?
Yeah, they like to hide. They think that passion on its own will drive the business and take home more money. And whilst it's great to be passionate, you do need to be business minded, and sometimes a bit ruthless with the numbers. It's just the way
you do. Here you go, Mr. Mortgage Lender. Here's some passion to pay my mortgage with. Yes, no, it doesn't quite work, does it? You also can't pay for your shopping with your Tesco Club card. I absolutely work that out every time I go there. So yeah, we can't go for loyalty and passion and determination. Those don't seem to sit where we're paying. So what we really need is sales and profits. Absolutely. So how do you help people? So I know, I'm sure most people know what an accountant does. I feel quite sure you don't need to explain that bit, but I'm sure yours is different anyway, because I find it frustrating when I meet accountants and they'll say, well, I'm just an accountant. I hear that so much. I'm like, I bet you're not. I bet there's something about you that's quite different, or you're very good at, or you don't do, or you do. So where is the sweet spot for you within that part, and then being able to talk about the finances? What is that bit in the middle?
So for me, I have only a small amount of clients that I work with, a certain number. I kind of restrict it because my business, I want to work closely with the business owner. That's really important to me. So I'm almost part of their team. And I'm not kind of one of those accountants that you can pay for just at year end and not speak to, which, you know, some business owners want. But I like to be more involved in the business, speak to them, look at their numbers, drive the business forwards. And we talk about all sorts of things, even marketing and their personal life and how they integrate together, the business and the personal life. I guess you could say I'm a bit nosy sometimes, but I think by understanding the business owner and their life and their goals, that's how we then design a business that suits them, rather than just being like generic advice. Like I could say, oh, go and buy a laptop today, super deductions running out, invest in your pension, you know, all the generic stuff that we can do for tax savings. But actually that might not be suited to the business owner. And so what I try to do is actually design the rules and the business around the business owner and their personal goals. So that's where I see that I'm a bit different. Plus, I've obviously got the financial coaching side, which there's not many accountants who do that.
No. So what's that? So what is financial coaching, to those that may not know what it is?
So the reason I got into it was I was saying to people, oh, you know, upload your this, do your bookkeeping, like look at your cash flow. And I thought, why are they paying me? But then they're avoiding, they don't always want to do these things. And so I went off searching and looking into things and discovered money mindset, because I hadn't really done that sort of stuff before. Obviously found out a whole load of stuff about myself in the process, and found that actually this is the key to why people are burying their heads in the sand. It's not because they're not good at numbers, they're not good at maths. It's something else, and it's their fear of money maybe, or being a success or failure, or like a whole host of things. So it's looking at what are those stories or beliefs from childhood or throughout your life that impact the way that you deal with your business now.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah,
I'm on the factual side, I'm the mindset side to it all, but yeah, that is the trick, isn't it? Yeah, it's all about change, isn't it? And I imagine that's at the base of everything you do. So people are scared of change, even if it's what they think is a positive, I want it change, i.e. earning $1 million or turning over 20 grand profit or whatever it is. It's still a massive change to the internal feelings that we've got, as well as the financials outside, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess the way I think about it is a lot of accountants are scared to go on camera. They're scared to go on social media and all that sort of stuff. And I get a lot of people messaging me saying, oh my God, you're so brave. How do you do that? How do you do that? And it's like, I'm not brave. I'm not super confident. I've just worked on my mindset and decided that actually I want to make the business a success. So I need to push myself outside my comfort zone. So while some people are comfortable with money, I'm uncomfortable with, being visible and stuff. So I've had to work on that and look at reasons why I don't want to be visible. Absolutely,
yes, and it all sits in the same base of mindset. So so it sounds really good. It sounds like it's ideal. What kind of people? So you said you work from an accounting point of view with the leisure kind of industry, gyms. So with the rest of it, is that still the same, or is that who do you work with?
So I'm working on a new program at the moment, and the idea is that it's going to be focused around businesses who are limited and around the VAT threshold, because the VAT threshold brings in not only accounting complications, but it brings in all sorts of mind monkeys and stuff that people just get really freaked out about VAT. So businesses around the sort of 70 to 150k mark in terms of turnover. Again, looking at working with fitness-based businesses, but it's not solely limited to those businesses. And yeah, so limited company, sort of small-ish, sole trader, not sole trader, like single director, maybe 1 or 2 sort of small employees, that sort of size, to work with them through sort of a 12-month period to help them work on their mindset, their numbers, and just really getting a grasp and confidence in their business. I guess that's the word for my clients, was confidence. So
yeah, absolutely, we should work together, because I get a lot of people approach me when they are at that kind of anywhere from 50k to 100k, well, from startup really, but they approach me in that old panic of, what am I going to do strategically? How am I going to go from what I'm earning to put 20% on there so that I can actually pay the tax man and still have enough money for myself? So they're looking to me for the strategic marketing and that kind of confidence mindset, and for you for the actual financial side of things, which I don't do. So we should team up, because at that point, that's really critical, because a lot of people keep themselves stuck there. Or the other thing, and you'll probably hear this, is they come in and I say, what's your turnover? And they'll say 120 grand. I say, oh, good. So, you've sorted all your VAT situation, and they'll go, oh, no. I'll be like, what? What? How long has this been going on for? Let's hope it's not longer than a year, otherwise we've got some problems. But very often they just don't even know. They don't know, especially if they're not a limited company. They don't understand that if they're turning over a certain amount, that they need to then pay an additional tax, basically called VAT. So it's a bit of a struggle, and then they have a little panic. So yeah, one of my clients, she is an accountant for charities, and she just took on a charity that should have registered for VAT 2.5 years ago.
Oh wow, I think the biggest I saw was 3 years.
Ooh, scary, like makes me go a bit cold. I'm not gonna lie. anything that involves the government makes me go into a slight sweat, because none of us want to be in trouble there, do we? They're the people you don't want to be in trouble with. So great work you're doing there, Debbie. Really good. So if people want to work with you, what's their first step? How do they, because they'll be scared, won't they? And they'll think it's going to cost them a fortune, and they're already a bit scared around the money side. So what's the first step for them?
So the first step is to book a sort of 20-minute discovery call. I do it on the phone purely because the added pressure of the camera sometimes. I think just do the first one on the phone. People like chatting on phones, and it will just be understanding your business a bit more, and actually if I am the right accountant for them, because to me it's a really personal relationship, and you don't want to work with someone that you just don't gel with very well. So I'm not for everyone, which is fine. So I think it's important you have that initial call just to see, does it feel right or not? And I'll just kind of learn a bit about the business and how they operate to see if they kind of fit into my business as well. And then we would have a second call which would go more through like goals, aspirations, and then some number-based stuff. So you'd kind of get pre-warning that I'll be asking about income, profit level.
I've just got this vision of a scene from The Apprentice. So where the numbers, it's like, I think that was the turnover for 2022. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Dragon's Den the other day, it was very much like that. And they were like, what's your gross margin? And they were just like, salaries. And this is like, no, gross margins, like cost of sales. And yeah, it's not as scary as that. And if they really don't know, like I could log into their system if they obviously give me permission to do so and kind of have a look. So
tell them maybe. And I suppose that's the objective really, is that you're able to make sense of those numbers for them, because most people, they're not doing it because they just don't understand. And actually, and that's not just small business, sometimes that's big business. Like some of the key players in big business, I used to do a lot of business recovery in my younger years, believe it or not. So I used to go in and save companies, and I remember looking, we'd have like on this big projector their their whole balance sheet, and all the directors around the table had no idea what they're looking at. I'm like, that negative figure there, that shouldn't be a negative. That's what the problem is here, right? That working capital should be a positive. There's a problem here. And then they'll be looking at me. I'm like, all right, this is not rocket science. This is just logical accounting. So I think in bigger businesses, it's the case. And yet we all think we should know everything about business. And I think that's what stops people from reaching out for help. So hopefully you can make that logical for them and, help them know how to get through that. So so if you want to get in touch with Debbie, all the links are underneath. So what is the goal for your business, Debbie? So like long term, obviously as a coach, I'm always interested in where people are going with their business. What do you want? What do you see? What's the vision?
So the vision is to bring in more group-based work, because that way I can help more people. I'm restricted with the sort of done for you stuff. So more group-based, like strategic work. Getting more people to talk about money, because we just don't talk about it in society. There's one book called You're a Badass at Making Money, and she says that it's almost like talking about sex, talking about money.
I think it's worse. I think we talk more freely about sex because sex sells, money doesn't. Money's like this dirty word. It's a dirtier word than sex, definitely. Yeah.
So encouraging more people to talk about money, helping people get confident with it, and like use the numbers to grow their business forward. So my aim for my business is to continue working part-time. That's always been the aim and the drive around my son, and to help more people by having group-based work. And like, as you know, from you get that group and you can help each other. It's not just me that will be helping, it will be kind of the group helping each other, which is really lovely. And yeah, just I don't have like massive like financial goals as such. I have an idea of what I want to make, but for me it's like the key thing is keeping it part-time, giving me the life that I want. So I've got obviously a dream budget, why would I not, on a spreadsheet, and
yes, of course.
and helping more people and getting more people to talk about money.
Well, lovely. I love talking about money too, because of course I do money. We have a nice old chat about money. It's lovely. And do you know what? Not because we're money obsessed. In fact, quite the opposite. I think if you can understand money and take care of the money, you don't have to think about it after a while. So I think people think that they continuously have to have their eye on it. No, you need to get all the basics in place, and then you can think about all the other stuff. Once you get that, people don't understand the freedom that comes from having the money you need. That I remember somebody saying to me once, oh, if I was rich, I'd become a dickhead. I said, well, you must be a dickhead then, because if I was rich, I'd literally, I'm very philanthropic, I would change the world. It would be a very different scenario. So I think it does show you up to who you actually are. And when you actually have got that base security, is a base need in life, is to have, shelter and food and love. They're our base needs of safety. So once you've got that, then obviously you can focus on everything else. I feel like I'm a much nicer person since I've got that kind of base stability. I don't know about you, but so yeah. yes, if you need any actual help with the money side of things, actually the finances of your business, sorting it out, understanding it, even understanding what your balance sheet is, or actually having a balance sheet, because you might not even have an accountant, in which case you really probably are in some trouble if you're earning over a certain amount of money as a business. So if you've got any questions about that, then get in touch with Debbie, and if you're not right for her, I'm sure she'll point you in the direction of somebody who can help you anyway. Thank you for being here with me today, my lovely, and I look forward to seeing more of you as you help these people go forth, multiply, and become exactly who they want to be. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.